Hello! My family and I are going to take this book for a spin. That's a fantastic, quick, healthy dessert.
Hot!
That's pretty good. It seems a little too simple. I like the texture of this one a lot.
Yeah, it's way too limey.
What am I walking into?
It's really good.
Oh, why is it spicy?
We are all over the place on this one. I just can't see this going wrong. I've been wrong before.
This is what I'm gonna drink when I'm older, because I'm gonna be rich and fancy.
Greetings and welcome back to PB with Jay. And here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness. And today we are going to do a deep dive into Plantifully Simple, the new book by Plantifully Kiki, otherwise known as Kiki Nelson. I know that there is a lot of love on YouTube and the internet for Kiki. And what makes her dishes and meals and videos, I think, so appealing is literally the simplicity of them, which I think we'll talk about throughout this video in terms of the pros and cons of that. As I peruse through this book, the first chunk of it is a lot of health and wellness information about weight loss and whatnot. I would probably wager that if you have any of her other previous books, it's a lot of overlapping information that has probably been recycled or rehashed here a little bit. So I'm not sure how much of that's going to be new. That said, I'm just making an educated guess on that, so I apologize if I'm way off basis for that. Some things to consider as well, especially if you are a family. This book is largely, the servings are for 1 or 2 people, which if you're the only person in your house that eats whole food plant-based, that's probably really, really helpful for you. Or if you're a single person, you know? So just know that going into this, that if you are cooking for a family like we are, you have to double or triple a lot of these recipes, and just keep an eye on that kind of thing. Because I know for people like my wife, who doesn't necessarily read the instructions all the way through before starting to cook, that might throw you off when you get halfway through a dish and realize you're missing a large quantity of the ingredients. Before we dive into this cookbook, I thought I would just take a little moment and be self-serving and let you know that our cookbook is in the pre-order state, which means that you can use the link in the description down below and order it because it's coming out at the end of this month. And you know what? Because you're awesome and you're watching our channel, I want to give you 20% off if you use the discount code PBWithJ20. It's only good though until launch date, and then it's going to be full price. But still awesome. Before we get to the recipes, I'd like to say hello to some of the wonderful people in our audience who have said hello to us in the comments down below. Ingun from Norway, Cassandra from Northern California outside of Sacramento, in a town called Folsom. Is that like the Folsom Prison from the Johnny Cash song? Claudia from Shelburne, Ontario. Busy Lizzie from Mono, Ontario. Home of the real Schitt's Creek. Do you guys all know what we mean by Schitt's Creek? Let us know in the comments down below. Angie from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mary World from Pacific Northwest, Washington. Sonia from Vienna, Austria. Maggie from Manitoba. Val from Northern Kentucky. Barb from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Annette from way south of us in Mexico. Julianne from Sydney, Australia. Chris from Tucson, Arizona. Annabelle from France. And Tracy from Chicago. If you'd like a shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is say hello to us in the comments down below. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and let us know what you like to see in a cookbook. I'm curious. I don't think I've ever asked that before. Let us know that. Stick around to the end of this video to find out whether or not we think you should buy, borrow, or bypass this book altogether. If you do find yourself wanting a copy of this book, we have a link in the description down below. To the recipes. For tonight's dinner, we're gonna make these Green Goddess Sammies.
How do you say Sammy like that?
Sammy. It says Sammy. How would you say it?
No one says Sammy.
It says Sammy right there.
Hello, YouTube.
This comes together pretty much in minutes if you have the beans already cooked. I probably already mentioned this in the intro, but most of her recipes only call for 1 serving. So if you're making this for multiple people, you gotta do the math.
Bump it up.
Bump it up. So we're literally just gonna take the beans and mash them together with the avocado and lemon juice, and then she says to season it with garlic salt to taste. I imagine you could just use garlic powder and salt. if you don't have garlic salt. Anyone want a teenager? $10. And then you spread the bean mash over bread with a dash of hot sauce if you want, and then you heap it with cucumbers, lettuce, and sprouts. This is very similar to like a chickpea mashed sandwich that we've made in the past and other kinds. So it'll be interesting to see if we like this with white bean. It seems a little too simple. I'm hoping the flavors pop enough. You had mustard yours?
I especially like the mustard.
I can see why you would add mustard. Oh, it's good though. This is fine without mustard.
It's really good.
A little hot sauce.
I would eat this again.
I think I like it almost better to use the white bean than a chickpea because it's just softer, right? Turns more into a mash.
We should use white bean with our chickpea sandwich recipe and see if we like it even better.
I would say I like the flavor of ours better still. I like the texture of this one a lot. This is great and very quick. This was so quick. I'm gonna give this an A+. The flavor, there could be more going on with the flavor.
I don't think you need to though.
You don't need a ton. A little bit of mustard though. But yeah, just make this recipe and add mustard to it. And the hot sauce helps too. Really good. What did you get?
Same with you.
The soup is not for rating. I just made it by thinking.
It's good.
And we thought I made a terrible soup at first because there's Brussels sprouts in it. And Wooly said you can't put Brussels sprouts in soup.
I was worried.
She was wrong. Because as long as you put lemon in, it'll counteract the really bitterness that the Brussels sprouts cause. No plate, huh? Wow, how's this one gonna go? Are you eating this in one go? Nope. Just putting it on the table. Great.
Annie's gonna wipe the table tonight.
It's like our chickpea salad sandwich.
Yeah?
With avocado.
Would you like it?
Yo, this soup looks awful.
That soup's not part of the video. Leave my awful soup alone.
Bad. Do not put this in the cookbook.
Okay.
It's good. It's actually not that
I like the extra plug he gave for the cookbook there. Nice job, Beefy. Good boy. Down the link down below. Pre-orders.
I'd give it an A.
I garnished the soup.
You garnished it? Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
He likes it. He's ate the whole top row.
I don't know. It's all right. If you guys there's like pickles in it.
Right? Pickles is a good idea. It needs a little hit. I'm going to put mustard on. So what do you give it?
B+.
Cool. How's my soup that you've been trashing? People have to know.
I'm scared. Why is it sweet?
sweet.
How's the sweet?
I want to try sweet.
Wait, now it's bitter. I don't like it.
I call it Annie's soup. It starts off sweet and then it gets bitter. Tonight for dinner, Annie's gonna make us peanut soba noodles.
No. And we're making them with spaghetti.
Okay, so yes, we are using not soba noodles because I couldn't find any just pure buckwheat soba noodles. And she says you can make them with any pasta you already have in your pantry. So we're making that so that your mother can have it too, Annie.
Dad, you're the reason toothpaste boxes have.
There it comes. Just wait. She needs a second to remember the joke. Okay, I'm waiting. Continue.
You're the reason toothpaste containers have labels and instructions.
You really got to work on that delivery.
Dad, you're the reason toothpaste boxes have instructions on them.
That was better that time. Now I feel hurt. All right, let's get into this recipe. So you're going to cook your noodles according to the packaged directions. Then you're going to set them aside and rinse them if necessary. Mist is cool. Hello. Although I find that if you're using like most noodles that are meant to be starchy, you don't want to rinse them too much because that starch on them is what's going to help hold the sauce to them. But for rice noodles, it's kind of important because otherwise they get sticky. So while the noodles are cooking, you're going to heat up your skillet in over medium-high heat. We're going to cook the mushrooms and the onions together in a wok or just a frying pan. I guess all you need to do. A skillet, it calls for it. Just until they cook a little bit. 5 minutes is really all she says that you need here. Then you're going to remove those from the pan. And then you're going to make the sauce by putting everything the sauce calls for into a mixing bowl and just stir it up. Keep in mind again, this recipe serves one. So we are quadrupling everything in here. I'm super curious about this sauce. So the instructions say to combine it all at once, but I thought just mix up most of it in a little hand blender. And then stir in the powder. Since we were doing it in such a large batch. One thing I'll say here, and if you've watched the channel before, you'll probably guess what I'm gonna say, is I'm shocked there's no like significant source of protein in here, even like soybeans or something. So I'm going to air fry some tofu on the side and add it right when we add the sauce, and so it coats all of that as well. Obviously you can probably do without, but I just think it'll just add a little bit more boost. It says this has 26 grams of protein as is, which is fine, but I want to add a little bit more to our meal. And then lastly, in a large bowl, we're gonna combine the noodles with the mushrooms and the onions, the cabbage and the pepper, and then the scallions, and then we're gonna drizzle the peanut sauce over top and toss to coat. Finish with a sprinkle of cilantro if you have it. We don't, I forgot to grab some. And squeeze a fresh lime, which we do have. So what's interesting here is that a lot of the vegetables are raw, which is great, super healthy. I might top these with some sprouts that we had from our dinner last night, because otherwise they're gonna go bad. I missed Woody. We're snuggling now because the kids are not eating. They would be. First bite was a
It smells so good. Does this have
Squealy.
peanuts in it?
Does this have peanuts in it?
Yeah.
This peanut sauce?
Damn it.
You can't taste the peanut. Well, it's actually the peanut powder, the PB2 stuff to lower the fat.
Doesn't have sugar in it.
This has maple syrup. No, that's just, you can get a sweetened version. The one I got is unsweetened.
Oh, good.
So it's literally just ground up like peanut dust.
Was it already limey? It's really sour.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a bit of lime in the sauce
Oh my
already.
god, you don't need to put lime on it. Yeah, it's way too limey. It's really
What's going on over
sour.
here?
But I like it, but I would tone down the
I cut the lime down by half.
What am I walking into? What are you putting on me? You're like, oh, why is it spicy?
Because there's spicy stuff in it.
Why is there so much lime?
Yeah, it's pretty limey.
B.
What?
B.
It smells so awesome, but really sour. And it makes it feel really spicy. I don't know if it is really spicy or
It's
if
pretty-
just the
it's got-
sour and the spice together.
It's got the chili garlic sauce in it, which has got some heat to it.
I don't mind a little spice, but
Yeah.
I like it a little.
It didn't
toned
add, it
down.
didn't call for the tofu either. I added that.
Oh yeah, it needs tofu.
I think with less lime, the sauce would be perfect. I like grating the carrot and the cabbage, not like cooking them. Cooked fresher, like that. I made this so fast.
Well, that's good because it's supposed to be simple.
I'm gonna give it like it's so limey. It's like I don't know, like a B, I think.
Yeah.
Can we take our rating system?
What do you like about it?
Like 0
It's
to
vague.
10. Yeah.
It's vague.
Some bees for me are different than other bees.
Exactly.
Some bees are better than other bees.
You want-
It's
you
not worthy to give it
We should
A.
do 1 to 10. 1 through 10.
Yeah, but you can do points.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, B, you're like, you can't do B plus or B minus, right?
We can. You guys say B plus and B minus all the
It's,
time.
it's not the same.
It's not on this.
Okay.
This is a 6.3.
Gotcha. I'm probably still going to keep the rating system, but thank you for letting us know. Interpreting Ephraim's new scores in F and A's is like a B. There's way too much lime in here.
Lot of boring math later.
I changed my mind. This is a C. It's almost an F,
I changed it
actually.
to an F. It's really bad.
Like, we're going to have a lot of leftovers. But you said add more peanut butter.
I think just add real peanut butter because the fat will cut the sour and the spice. You're missing the fat. Was it supposed to be peanut powder?
Yeah.
This is what will cure my
It's like an F, I think.
sourness.
Wow.
Not an
It's-
F for me.
it's
I can
so much
see
lime.
how it could taste really good.
Too much lime. Well, I think it's the problem with using the powder as opposed to real peanut
Yeah.
butter is that you've removed
actually need the fat.
you need the fat to cut the lime.
I would just add some peanut butter, maybe like peanut butter mixed with water so it's a little more runny.
Creamy? Yeah.
And then pour it on. That's what I would do if I could have peanut butter for lunch.
Ah, this is helping.
So tonight for dinner, we're gonna make this cherry pie bowl. As most of the recipes in this book, it serves one. We're gonna serve 4. So I'm actually, it says to cook it inside like a little oven-safe dish. We don't have ones that I think are big enough for individual portions. We have like little ramekins, but this looks a bit bigger. It's hard to tell. So I'm gonna just do it in like a small casserole dish. Just put it all together in one. And hopefully the baking time doesn't really change that all that much. This is like a crumble. We've made tons of these before. I'm surprised that she doesn't have any cornstarch or anything to mix in with the fruit to help create like a thickened mixture inside of it, but that's okay. This is very, very, very simple. Essentially, you just preheat the oven, put the cherries in the dish, and then you combine the mixture and put it on top. And you cook it. Let it cool a little bit. Super, super simple. We've made dozens of these before. I've never done one with straight up cherry, and cherry is my fave, so I just can't see this going wrong. I've been wrong before.
That's pretty good. You have almond in it?
Almond extract, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the sweetness of the oats. It's kind of too sweet, but it's alright.
Yeah?
I'll give it a B plus A minus. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's in between there.
Interesting. There's only about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup in the whole thing.
It's because of cherries.
Yeah. Like, it was a little watery for me. It just felt like there was a missed opportunity just to put some cornstarch in with the cherries, because it would make that little liquid at the bottom turn into more like a syrup without like adding any gunk to it. There's a missed opportunity there, but the flavor's nice. Almond extract with cherries is always a winner, always. If you're doing any kind of cherry dessert or breakfast, put a little bit of almond extract in there. It's gonna give it that artificial cherry flavor you're used to from like cherry pies and stuff. Yeah, for a healthy dessert, this is a solid A. Annie was unavailable to give specific feedback, but she said that it was good, too many cherries, and she gave it a B, I think. And she loves cherries. Woody, what'd you think?
I thought it was too sweet and too much almond extract. C.
She would not eat it again. We are all over the place on this one. So this morning, I'm gonna make this chocolate granola. I'm not sure if anyone else would be around to try this, but maybe they'll try it after school today. I have to look up the actual definition of granola, but this one might stretch the term because it's literally just oats, maple syrup, cocoa powder, and vanilla. It feels like for something to be granola in my mind, you need to add another mix in. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, your definition of granola. And I'll post the actual definition I find on the internet right here. This is another example that kind of scratches my head when it comes to Kiki's books, because this is fine, this chocolate granola recipe. It's a very simple recipe, and that's good. The book is about being simple. But then on the previous page, she has another recipe. It says vanilla berry parfait with chocolate granola. That is literally just telling you to add plain vanilla to this granola with fruit and calling that an additional recipe. It's things like that that make me wonder how much of this book is padded out so that they can claim there's 100 recipes on the cover. Because that feels like one recipe where you've suggested I serve it with yogurt. To which she also suggests you get a plain yogurt, but then add monk fruit or stevia to it. Maybe just get used to having plain yogurt. You've already got some chocolate granola on there. The other curious thing is the serving sizes. On her recipe for the granola, in like super tiny font, it says it makes 6 quarter-cup servings. But then when you go to the parfait page, which says serves 1, she recommends you put a half a cup of the granola on. So which is the serving? Is it a quarter cup or is it a half a cup? Because that's confusing for people. All right, how about I just shut up now and make the actual granola? So first we preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Some parchment paper out. Then we're going to combine basically everything into one bowl. Mix well. We're going to spread that over the baking sheet. And then we're going to bake it for 10 minutes until it's lightly browned. It says to allow the granola to cool before storing in an airtight container for a week. All right, we're just going to try this on its own. So I feel like this granola is designed more to be like a replacement for sugar cereals for people that are used to that, and less an option for like a sweeter, healthy granola. That's how I'm gonna kind of like position this in my mind. Are you gonna try this, Eve? Whoa, it's got a nice crunch.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's good for like, I wouldn't call it granola, but it's tasty. I'd be more likely to put that on like that on a dessert, like a topping on top of a dessert. Like for a cereal, it feels like it'd be a lot. But it's tasty. It's very, very, very tasty. What would you give it?
I'm not gonna A whatever it is.
It's an A, whatever it is. So if you're looking for something healthy for your kids, healthier, it's still loaded with maple syrup. If you want a healthier version of actual granola, we have a recipe on our website, but also our new book. Link in the description down below.
Is it out yet?
My pre-coffee brain cannot confirm, but I'll put it on the screen here. I can't remember. Brain tired. This is good. All right, we'll see what Wooly and Annie think when they get home. Oh, I didn't give my grade. I don't know. I'm not gonna rank it as a granola. I'm just gonna rank it as what it is. I'm gonna give this like an A. It's like almost a little too sweet for breakfast for me, but it's really, really tasty. And I think for what she's intending it for people, I think it's really, really good.
That's pretty good.
What'd you give it?
A B.
What is it?
It's breakfast. It's chocolate granola.
Good. Chocolate.
Would you eat that for breakfast?
I would.
Yeah? What would you give it?
An A.
Woo. A for Annie. All right, go get some dinner now.
What is this?
Mexican slop. It's a work in progress. What do you think?
Looks interesting.
Maybe if I get it better, it's okay right now, but if I get better, it'll be coming to you at some point in the future. So for dinner tonight, we're gonna make this sweet potato black bean curry. There's a couple things about this recipe that confuse me from the get-go. I'm gonna kind of read through it, and you can let me know if it's not confusing for you. So it's called the sweet potato black bean curry. It says to cook the sweet potato in the oven. So basically it says to bake that, let it cool, and then use your hands to remove and discard the skin, and then cut the potato into bite-sized cubes. Why am I not just peeling it in advance, cutting into cubes, and then baking it that way? I guess she wants it soft for the curry. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do because I'm running behind tonight. I'm actually gonna pull these things out of the oven and I'm gonna cut them up so they cook a little bit faster because I also wanna make this brownie. And we're going to the farm. And Wooly's gonna get home from work and she's gonna wonder why dinner's not ready yet. I'm gonna cut it into bite-sized cubes now and put it in my air fryer so that way I can use the oven for my brownie. Yeah, these sweet potatoes are like perfect. They're nice and soft. They're not crispy from the air fryer. I've left the skin on because, I don't know, personally, I'm like, if you want to optimize your ingredients for health, why would you take the skin off anyway? There's so many nutrients and good things inside of that. It just seems crazy to me to take the skin off of your sweet potato. So I'm not gonna. And then next we're going to heat our pot, saute the onions until they begin to brown. Then we're gonna add the almond milk, the coconut milk, the curry paste, and stir all that together until it's completely incorporated. What do I do with the sweet potatoes I set aside? It doesn't say anything about the sweet potatoes. When do I add them? I can't find it. It's called the sweet potato black bean curry. What do I do with the sweet potatoes? Add the kale, beans, lime juice, and salt and cook, stirring until the kale is wilted and everything is heated through about 5 minutes. Season with a couple drops of stevia. She loves stevia, obsessed with it. Probably because it's a low-calorie sweetener. I don't know, I'm fine, just use some maple syrup. Stevia, ugh. It's got such a chemical taste to it. Do you not agree? Like, does stevia not just taste like chemical sugar to you? Oh, it does say stevia or maple syrup. That's fair. I just added maple syrup. I like that. It's good. Ooh, it's got a kick. Add in the cilantro, and then we're good. So it's probably not the way it's meant to be eaten, but I don't care because you didn't tell me what to do with the sweet potato. So I'm gonna make my own decisions about this because I'm an adult, kind of, a little bit. I'm adult looking on the outside, anyway. I also have to say that I've noticed this a few times now in the book. There's mistakes in the page number recommendations because she says something about 2 cups chopped kale. See note on page 86. When you go to 86, it's this pineapple ginger smoothie where kale isn't even in here. It's spinach, and there's no like side note about kale. There was another suggestion on one of the other recipes that said, go to this page for a note on this, and it's not there. That's, I don't know. There's enough of those that it's just kind of, I don't know how that happens. If you're going to reference page numbers, they got to be accurate, because now I don't know where to go. And I don't know what you want me to do with the kale, so I'm just going to chop it up. I don't even know why that would be a note. See note on page 86 about chopping kale leaves. I think I can figure that one out myself. Calm, Jeremy, calm.
It's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Was it simple and easy?
It was. There was some things in the recipe that didn't make sense. Like, I'm learning a lot writing a book about what to include, what not to include. It's like, we've had a lot of practice from seeing just the errors in others' books by accident. But it also makes me wonder, it's like, it also kind of flags to me what books aren't recipe tested. Because that's the kind of thing that would get caught, you would think, right?
Yeah.
How does that not get caught? Because I definitely made that mistake in some recipes. And some of you caught it. Thanks, recipe testers. This is excellent.
I would eat this again.
This is like an S for me. It's got sweet potato. It's got a nice amount of heat.
Really?
Yeah. Sweet potato.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really, really good. It's got a nice amount of heat. That yellow curry is really nice.
I didn't want rice.
I'm going to give it keeping people in suspense.
I understand. I'm going to cut out some of that suspense.
Why would you do that? It's not very suspenseful if you cut it out.
Let me know when you...
I'm going to give it S.
You took a big bowl.
Wow.
So sweet potato tastes like bad carrots.
No, it doesn't. It tastes like sweet potato. Sweet potato is awesome.
In a good way?
I'll give it a solid 2.2.
I'm not doing that. Do the letter scale.
2.2.
That's a good
But I can't
C
eat a whole bowl
minus,
of
Dad.
this. But I don't know if I can eat a bowl of this.
That giant bowl? Yeah, that's a lot. It's a C. Thank you. Annie?
I'm gonna eat like a soup. And it's really spicy. If it was less spicy, it'd be an A.
So it's a B?
No, it's still an A, but if it was less spicy, it'd be a better A.
So you could just put like less curry paste in yours. There you go.
This is what I'm gonna drink when I'm older, because I'm gonna be rich and fancy.
For our dessert tonight, I'm gonna make this one bowl heavenly banana brownies. I know we made a lot of brownies here, but often we make the uber healthy ones that have things like beans in them that the kids sniff out in 2 seconds. So this one should appease them. I'm tempted to actually make this in the food processor. She says to just, you're basically combining everything inside of a bowl. You're mashing the bananas until smooth and creamy. I don't know, I just find there's always still chunks in them, which I guess is okay. Can Velma feel the love tonight? But I'd kind of rather just run this all through a food processor, and then it's really nicely combined. So here's a trick I learned recently for you guys actually, is take a piece of parchment and crumble it up like this into a ball. And when you pull it out, it'll fit inside of your pan. And then we're gonna sprinkle the chocolate chips on top. And we're gonna bake for 18 to 20 minutes. Oh, that's nice. It's a quick recipe. That's good.
You know how I like brownies. Can I just have a bite of yours, Mom?
This one. Does it have icing on it?
Nope.
Smells like banana.
Looks like banana.
Can I smell it before you eat
Tastes
it?
like banana. It's okay.
It tastes like banana bread.
Yeah, it kind of does. It doesn't.
And when it was cooking,
Oh,
I
it tastes like
smelled
chocolate.
banana. There's hair in here.
It just looks like a brown banana bread.
Very banana bready.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's mostly banana.
Very gluten-free texture.
All right, votes.
B.
No, not
Hey, we said it at the same time.
Restore my vote.
No, B.
B.
Yeah, B. Velma,
What'd you say, Velma? What do you... Get her.
She ate 4 slices of bread and an oatmeal raisin cookie today.
Annie, what did you think of... Velma,
She
what did you
stole
think of the
them off
bread?
the counter.
What did you think of the bread?
Velma, did you like the bread?
It was an A. My turn. If you call that a chocolate banana bread, I think you'd be more successful with it. It's really good though. For how quick this was to make, it tastes really good. I don't know. I think it's an A. It's almost an S. Take an A plus. That's a fantastic, quick, healthy dessert. Thanks for joining us for our cook through of Plantifully Simple. Now, what did we think of this book? I'm of two minds about this book. On one hand, I really recognize that for people who are new to this way of eating, who are maybe not that proficient in the kitchen, a book as simple as this one is probably a godsend. So I would say for people like that, this book is probably a buy, if not a very, very strong borrow. That said though, if you're the kind of person who desperately needs photos of the recipes, this book does not have photos for every single recipe inside of it. My other criticism, as I kind of mentioned when I was talking about the granola, is it does feel like it's a little bit padded. It feels like there's a couple recipes in here that are just combinations of other recipes to create something new that, I don't know, in another cookbook, I think would just be something they would add in the tips section. It's like, by the way, you can combine these things. So I don't know. I don't want to call anyone out on that. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure that happens in a lot of cookbooks, but it's something I've noticed in her cookbooks a little bit more than others. So I'm flagging it. I don't know what to do with that information. I'm sorry, maybe I'm being overly critical. If you're someone who is a bit more comfortable and proficient in the kitchen, this might just be a borrow for you, just to give you some ideas, or if you just want a couple really quick meals in your stable of meals, that's probably what you want for that. And if you are very proficient in the kitchen, then maybe this one is a bypass, because a lot of the meals in here are what I would call makeup by thinking with style. You know, if you're the kind of person who can jump into the kitchen and just grab a bunch of ingredients and go to town, I don't know if you need this. You're probably good on your own. So yeah, this one's hard because it's kind of all over the spectrum depending on who you are as a person in the kitchen. I think different people could buy, borrow, or bypass this book. And if you do want to get this book, obviously use the link in the description down below. And if you want to get a pre-order of our cookbook while you still have that discount, use the link in the description down below for that as well. It just makes me happy. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to let YouTube know to share it with other people, and stick around because this is the video that they think you should watch next. I don't even know what it is. They picked it special for you because you're special. You're a special, unique, and beautiful person.